Hi everybody, I'm Heather from Stamps by Judith and Heather, and welcome to our stamping techniques. Before I forget, don't forget to sign up for Rafflecopter and get signed up for your door prize. And I also wanted to remind you, if you like what we do, on Friday nights on our own Facebook page at 7:30 Central Standard Time for the foreseeable future, we have videos, live videos where you can jump on, send your questions. My son Nathan is behind the camera. He's the cameraman. Dave would normally be on his computer, and we can interact with you there. So if you like what you see, join us there. But thanks for joining us today. What I want to show you is kind of interactive stamping. And normally these are hanging up behind me, but these are all made with stamps. Very similar techniques, just a few different stamps. I mean, I could just keep going. I have hundreds of these around. Different techniques, well, I should say same technique, different stamps, gives them all a very unique look. So I wanted to show you those. And interactive stamping is where you can use one stamp to create more than one look. So I'm using some copy paper. It's HP, I don't remember, 26 bright, no, 24 pound 96 bright, I believe, or 22 pound 96 bright. It's at Sam's, but it's their HP. So I have my copy paper, and I'm going to start off with my first grade Valentine, fold it in half. And what I'm going to do is just kind of create sort of a half vase. So you got your little bulb to the bottom of the vase, and then a skinny neck. So there's the interior. And this is a great technique if you have stamps that you really don't use anymore, you know, that weird melted clock face that you got a long time ago for that one project. Because what I'm going to do is use the stamp, this way, and use it to create and make a texture. So I grabbed a couple kind of bizarre little stamps, or not bizarre, but ones you wouldn't necessarily think of using with flowers. Here's my golf hat. This is C169. And I have my rainbow pad. What I'm going to do is, this is what my golf hat looks like. It's a little golf hat. But if I take my golf hat and start stamping it multiple times over and over, it now just becomes a very interesting texture tool. So we're going to stamp like that. And I do kind of stamp heavier in one area to give it shading. So I'm stamping darker down here and fading it off. So I'm actually creating shading with it. But I'm stamping it over and over and over, so you lose that it's actually the golf hat in there. And it becomes more of an interesting little pattern with a little bit of a fuzz in it. So we take that, and to clean my stamps, I just blot them off on a wet paper towel. So you have this, and when you take it away, you have a really unique patterned vase. I mean, you can see little bits of the golf hat, but you probably really have to look at it to realize that it's still a golf hat at this point. Now, the tops of the flower, let me set that aside, can be all sorts of different things. Excuse me. This one is a geranium top. That's this guy. This one is also the geranium top. The geranium top is kind of my favorite. Like just about every one I have here is the geranium top. But here's one that's a couple stubbies, which are these dowels. But I have a couple different flowers here. I will use the geranium top, but not exclusively. Okay, I am going to start off, because I have it all over the place over there, the geranium top. That's B90, or B80, excuse me. Stamp it in red. And I'm almost like I'm painting with the stamp. So I'm not just stamping an image down and coloring it in. I'm using the stamp to create something more. And then I'm going to put one down around the bottom. So we have our bright little geraniums. And then I want to make these look almost like they're painted a little bit more. So I'm just going to take my watercolor markers. These are combos, and just use corresponding colors and just add some brighter little dashes in there. And I'm not going to give you specific colors because if you're stamping this, you may have stamped this in a pink rather than a red, and then you'd obviously not want red splotches added to it if you'd use a pink. So it's not a specific color, it's just whatever's similar. Now the vase, if you want to darken it a little bit, they're watercolor markers, and this is a water-based ink, so it actually will bleed a little. So I'm using almost like a water brush, but it's just a light blue marker, and just going around one side just to shade that edge. So again, just corresponding colors with whatever you stamped your base. And the rainbow pads are great for stamping the vases, the 𝐒𝐨𝐧𝐽𝐡 and all sorts of different families, because then you get the multiple colors in your vases. So here's my basic color. I'm going to grab a hunter green ink and my fade out leaf. This is D126. And I'm going to add some fade out leaves to this. I got it kind of like that. I'm going to put one over here. But it's kind of isolated right now, so I'm going to grab some of the stubbies. This is AAA 154. And I'm just going to put a few other flowers tucked in my vase. And then what I want to do is create a little bit of softness. Oh, this is a newer stamp. I think I called this one the Sketchy Buds. It's E277. And I'm going to grab just a scratch piece of paper. Actually, I'll use the inside of my vase. And I'm just going to tear a little chunk out. And I'm going to grab my hunter green ink. Yeah, it's like I said, I'm making this up as I go. Grab my hunter green ink, and I'm just going to add a little bit of hunter green, just to add some softness. And I need to have something down here. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is my dots, my AAA 04. That's not it. Where did I plop it? Oh, right here. Had my hand on it. In blue. Okay, so I add my dots. And I'm going to come in with a soft brown marker. Just want to make sure it's not floating. Put some ground underneath. And then I'm going to take my fine line pilot pen. I usually use a V5 or a V7. And I'm just going to do a little double line And I'm not following the edge of my vase perfectly. I'm actually going to do that with my leaves as well. Put a line in the middle. So it makes it almost look like it's hand drawn now. All I'm doing is doing a double line around the leaf. And I apologize if I sneeze. I have a sneeze coming.
Don't sneeze on the card.
I won't sneeze on the card. Okay. Now, one thing I don't care for right now is my leaves are all the same color. So I'm going to come in with my 192 Tombow and add a little bit of green, and I like that better. So this evolves and changes. You're not always locked into it being the same thing. So there's vase number 1. Now, instead of a vase, I had, oh, here it is. I cut out a flower pot. You know, it's just that. And I'm going to take, in this case, my weird,
there we go.
My
There's
weird
focus.
Nose mask. Oops. And I'm going to grab a brown rainbow ink pad because I want kind of terracotta color. And I'm going to start stamping my little weird nose mask in here. It's kind of an echo doing this. So you fill this in. And if you get one that looks too much still like the nose and the face, then you just kind of go over it to obliterate that definite look. And I'm going to actually come in and touch a little bit of the red on my rainbow ink pad because I want just a little bit of red tone. You could use a sponge to do this if you wanted, but I like using a stamp because I get the texture. So I'm going to take it away, and there's my kind of goofy terracotta pot. I'm going to take a brown marker and just touch the brown edge a little bit to give it a little bit of shading. So I have the texture still, but now I have a little bit of shading. And then I'm going to come, this is a different leaf. This is my patterned leaf, my B126. I got to keep track of time. This technique, you could just keep going and going. And what I'm going to do is, this is a flower, but there's, or a leaf, but there's nothing to say you can't turn your little terracotta pot into a pot full of poinsettias for Christmas. So you build this up. Now if your poinsettias look like mine, they usually all the leaves fall off and then you have like 3 leaves left in the pot, but if they look like my mother's, hers are full and leafy. She's much better at the poinsettia thing than I am. And I'm going to come back in with the larger fade out leaf just because I wanted it to be a little bit bolder. All right, we got that. And I'm going to take, that's the wrong red. Should have grabbed a pink. There we go, a soft pink. Just ignore the red. And you can just touch the edges of the leaves a little bit. And to make that one look like it doesn't stand out quite so much, I'll just do a couple that look like that. So I still have the pattern leaf, but I'm just taking a corresponding color and filling it in a little bit. And we have a lot of these kind of samples on our website that you can look at. Again, I'm going for kind of my own unique look. Not that green. I'm having problems grabbing the wrong markers today. Okay, so I have a little bit of blue or green on there. I'm going to grab my fir branch, which is C69, and that torn piece of paper again. So I can tuck and get a little bit of Christmas look in here. So you do that. I'm going to come back in with my green. And a little bit of blue. We have about 4 minutes left. And again, I'll show you the other samples. And we got to throw another kind of flower in there, maybe a little, here we go, 3 flowers, it's stubby. And I'm going to go again to the purple. And you could stamp this in the center of the poinsettias to give them just a little bit of an anchor if you wanted. So I have that, and then my dots in blue.
Could you stamp your stamps on the side? Your arm going in front of it is...
Oh, okay. So that's the dots I'm using. Thank you, Nathan, for the reminder. And the 3 flowers. Sometimes I forget I'm left-handed and I cover everything. There are my 3 flowers. And these will all be posted on our website too, so you can see them. Now the flower pot, I want to give it a little definition. So I am just going to take my fine line pen, which doesn't always like to draw over stamped areas, and put some lines around the pen. You could put a ribbon on it if you wanted. So there's my Christmas poinsettia. Oh, Nathan, you want to hand me the other one I did? So, oh, that's the one I did. So here's 2 different ones. We only have a couple minutes. Here's the ones I did before. I mean, it's a similar look, but different foliage in there. And like I said, a lot of these are on our website. Here's a different size vase and a few different foliages, but the similar concept. So you can take those, and this one is rocks and grass inside. This is a little tutu skirt. This one is a basket and a butterfly. So you can use all sorts of different things inside. So yeah, that's just a little taste of interactive stamping and creating kind of simply with the stamps. I mean, we have idea sheets you can print out on our website. I have them right here. You can print these out on our website, and there's a lot of interactive things, and there's videos that correspond with them to give you more of a taste of stamping. Don't forget Rafflecopter to sign up for the door prize, and check out our Friday night video on our Facebook page to see more interactive stamping and coloring and other things. And we hope to see you at a show sometime in 2021. So have a good day, everybody. Bye.